Welcome to TS Lombard. Among the many zones of risk around the world which have important implications for the economy and for economic risk, none is more important to my mind than East Asia. This region contains two of the world's three biggest economies, China and Japan, and the biggest economy of all, the United States, is deeply involved in the region. There have been some positive moves over the last week in East Asia, notably with the telephone call between Xi Jinping and Donald Trump, and with the visit to America of the Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe for lengthy talks with Trump. The question now is whether the US, the Trump administration, can achieve a triangular agreement between China, Japan, and itself. That is very difficult because of the antagonism between China and Japan. But strangely enough, the North Korean missile test last weekend, which was a deliberate thumbing of his nose at the United States and Japan by the young leader, whether that can become the center for a series of negotiations which could bring these three powers closer together. The great problem in dealing with North Korea has always been China's unwillingness to put pressure on Pyongyang. The fear in Beijing is that if sanctions were increased too much, if it cut off its supplies of food and energy to the north, it would see regime collapse across the border from Manchuria. And that would not only bring a stream of refugees into China, but could lead eventually to the reunification of South Korea, which of course is a treaty ally of the United States. And that would bring troops of an ally of the US up to the Yalu River border, which is what China fought the Korean War to prevent and has always been deeply hostile to. However, in this situation, it is quite possible that Beijing may think that Kim is causing it more problems than would be caused by his fall. And that in that situation, Beijing, Xi Jinping, will be bringing greater pressure to bear on Pyongyang. The main reason is that the North Korean military expansion has brought agreement between South Korea and the United States, possibly to be joined by Japan, on setting up an anti-missile system which would seriously inhibit China's own missile system, its ability to take action, if it wanted to, with its missile force, on which Xi Jinping has been putting great focus over the last couple of years. So in order to prevent this anti-missile system being deployed, as it would be later this year or early next year, Beijing may now be ready to put greater pressure on North Korea to work more closely with the United States and even with Japan in a triangular relationship in East Asia. Of course, deep differences remain between the three countries, and the probability of trade friction must be high in the weeks and months ahead. But on the strategic military front, the risk, it may seem strange given that we've had this missile test, but the risk may be diminished by greater understanding and agreement between the world's three biggest economies.